Dude, that's awesome. Nice. That's like this already. That's cool. Dude, my instructors, my web dev instructors, that after the .com part, a lot of people that had it programmer. So that's when the whole phone screen. It's pretty funny. That's cool. I like it. This guy's funny. The one. Oh, is it? Right. So not that one's good. Right. It's fun. Thanks for seeing That was so weird. So I have the most. Nice. Great. Yeah. Well, there's a big one more too. We're gonna plug that in.
You can unplug mine.
Unplug mine.
That big one is plugged into like everything.
Yeah.
So we should really move it down.
Yeah, that's what we were.
But you need to stay area.
How would we do it?
Yeah, we really should do that. That is a no.
We could do it at 7:01 after the meetup starts.
No!
By the way, sponsored by
Here.
There we go. There it is. And then, yeah, it was showing the
I love that. It's been hours. I think I've actually.
Oh yeah.
I get sober enough.
This one right here. When I get sober, I put that. This is not supposed to happen. I like that one.
Yeah, I figured that.
This is a fun good computer.
Yes. Everything's not fine.
We're going to
Welcome in. We're here to talk about Angular and tool stuff like Angular. Don't jump and stuff. My name is Will. Along with I'm virtual, which is fine here. One of your savvy. Hosting this. Before we do anything, I would like to give a plus Scott, who sponsored the beer for excellent. Okay. So we usually start things off with some announcements, do lightning talks, have a talk, and then at the end. So anybody looking for work, hiring. Yes. Yes.
The company hiring for project Angular development, less. So I'm very happy to have production experience. But you don't need to be senior. You can be anywhere from low end to senior. I'll take anything in between. Or if you just involved in Angular and you want to have some about the Ruby environment and impact development. There's a lot going on, so I have some open up more available.
That was Scott, by the way. For those on the confused. Anybody else? Yes, no. I think our site update will come up. We are not hiring for Angular, but we want to talk to people who are working here. We don't as far as I'm aware, center next month. So if Scott, you did tell me. Okay, I'm sorry. Scott is presenting next, but for the foreseeable future, like to present a task force that set up on the site. It's posted there. I'm trying to get that on it. Any announcements people want to make? Midwest JS next week. Well, Zach is not going to make it, but I'm doing this talk at Midwest JS. I'm not sure if anyone else will sign on. I'm sure you can. And it's going to be cool. And they realize that the conference is also next week in most else.
She mentioned it.
Oh yeah, and there's a notepad. Yeah, they have a great website about copy paste. Advanced copy paste techniques. Yeah, no. Okay, opening it up to anyone like to show off something they're working on, or something they may learn, or just want to have a fun talk about it. Anybody? No.
Well, I'll be doing
Yes.
If anyone is
Sorry, you don't sound sorry. Lance on there next fall. I'm not English testing. You're also sound like that.
Hey.
Okay, nobody? Alright, Zach might just go.
And they don't have to move to the dongle. All right. Still running the slides. So just move this here. Whoa, what happened? There we go. Oh, that's totally not the slides. All right. You gonna come up here or what? You're still on the hook for this one.
I thought you wanted to do this. I thought you wanted to start off. Or we just tell you when you mess it things up?
Yeah, that'd be helpful. And version of VL I'm using apparently has busted speaker notes, which is super cool. That's what everybody do.
So both of us work here. We'll be talking about this project. This is our second project here. Actually, this project actually kicked off a smaller version of the project between us while doing this project.
So yeah, you guys all
probably know we're here to talk about
Postmortem's
a bit of a fit because we're shipping in early October for this project. But
kind of
how this
pretty
large Angular project here at Bridgewell.
Zach,
I'm Will.
So this is kind of aimed at people who are about
to start or in the thick of a large Angular project.
Of Angular, but
know the basics of Angular, but are looking for some guidance or some war stories about what to look out for and avoid.
So
this is more for the conference, I guess.
We're experienced with
Angular. We're not experts. We're still learning this stuff. It involves a lot.
So ask
questions because you know what you want to know better than what we think you want to know.
Yeah, just think like so if you guys want to dive deeper in anything or see stuff, let us know.
Yeah.
This will be top level kind of stuff until someone asks for details.
So a bit of history. The app that we're writing
is the internal nurse practitioner's app. So for those who don't know, Virtual, the online doctor's office, basically you answer a bunch of questions on our public-facing site, and then we have a web app for the nurses to look over what you said, maybe give you a call if you need clarification, maybe send you a prescription to your pharmacy if you need a prescription, and then let you know how to take care of yourself for whatever you got going on. We built the original prototype in 2009, 2010 for launch without a lot of knowledge of how it would be used or what they would need. I mean, the closest model is like an electronic medical record system, but that's not exactly it. Those are more meant for documenting than actual treating. So we learned a lot from how that has gone in the past several years, and it's also at the same time become a bit of a tech debt heap. There's some pretty nasty spaghetti code in there. So there was a call to make it better for our nurses, who are our primary scaling factor. We have to be able to hire more nurses to treat more people. So the decision was made to make a replacement to the current application, start from scratch, use all the latest and greatest, get a new design around it. Nice things about the project, we only need to support one browser. We have full control over the people who are using it. They are at our mercy. So
latest Firefox was approved for the project. And yeah, we don't have to support a ton of users. We have good channels of feedback from them. So there's that caveat on the project that we're not worried about supporting random people on IDs to have nasty calls and getting a bunch of nasty calls and stuff like that. Like we know who's using it. A bit of history about how Angular's been at Virtual. So we started in 2012 to delve into the kind of heavy mobile application backbone, kind of similar to the side of things. That patient side a little bit backcoded, a little bit antiquated. Got the green light, greenfield app for a mobile app, which we were eventually going to retrofit as responsive and MVD. We ended up with a lot of code and inconsistent data binding, and Backbone is all right. It's a good start for building JavaScript frameworks, but we were left with something to be desired. So we took a month to vet kind of what JavaScript framework do we want to kick off this project with. And the consensus amongst the team was that Angular looked pretty sweet. This was March of last year, 2015, something like that, April.
Yeah.
So Angular looked pretty sweet at the time. We all liked it, decided we could live with it if it turned out bad, and have been very pleased with that decision. The team's really fallen in love with Angular. Obviously, we wouldn't be some people otherwise. And as Zach mentioned, we loved it so much that we decided that part of that mobile site that we wrote in Backbone, we could take out and replace with Angular to speed up our load times and just kind of start moving the code base to more of a consistent technology frame stack. So, I think Zach estimated that at like 3 weeks, and it ended up being like, well, 8 or 9. But yeah, it went very shortly for a project that took almost a year to write in Backbone. Now, I mean, that's a little bit into that fourth project probably 6 or 8 months in Backbone. But to Angular's credit, it was quick to rewrite that. This is kind of a mood slide for this audience. You guys know why Angular rocks. So yeah, just a little bit about our full stack for this project. We're using Rails. For those who don't know, Rails is a similar framework to Rails in the Java space, built on top of Groovy, which is similar to Ruby, hence the names. We're using Grunt to do a lot of our front-end processing. There are other options in the Rails space and in the JavaScript space. We tried using Gulp for a while. We'll talk a little bit more about how that didn't work for us, but I hear great things about Gulp. We chose to do CoffeeScript for our front-end stuff. None of us had done CoffeeScript before. In hindsight, my personal opinion is that that was perhaps a bit ambitious, and there are things I don't like about CoffeeScript, but there's some things I like about it too. It's terse. So, it's more pleasant to look at than a wall of functions. We've written some CoffeeScript that's like, has like 5 conditionals on one line. Like CoffeeScript lets you do like if this, unless that, otherwise the other thing, then this on one line. And like coming from a Java background, like I want to see my conditional blocks. And that's what my eye is trained to see. So when I end up with JavaScript where one line got blown out into 10 lines, like that just throws me off a little bit. Would I do it again? If it were my choice, I'd probably pick JavaScript. I'd probably just try out. I mean, the other thing, especially for an Angular project, there are some people writing Angular in CoffeeScript. There are more people writing Angular in JavaScript. The space is evolving so fast that it was, it's just an extra step to do that mental translation of like, okay, this is the JavaScript how I write this, how I write CoffeeScript. It's fairly straightforward. There's occasionally points like, I don't know, I was playing with some implicit return stuff in CoffeeScript for a test that I was trying to write, and it was just like, causing me nightmares.
It can make debugging a little tricky too when you're going back and forth between the CoffeeScript and the JavaScript and the web console.
Would you? The learning curve is like so. I hadn't done a lot of CoffeeScript, but you're always kind of double checking the JavaScript. You're like, I don't trust it at all.
That's like, we're already struggling to learn Angular a bit at that time. Like having to be like, okay, is this JavaScript actually what I expect this Angular to look like? And I was like,
it builds up a little bit, so you trust a little bit more, and you're not catching yourself checking the job through.
We're using Jasmine for our unit testing and Karma as a runner, both locally and on our CI server. Doing our third-party dependency management with Power. I see Power knocked a lot in the JavaScript community. I don't get that. Like, I think it's cool. I don't know, but
realistically, once you ship product, like for me, I guess I love Power. That's background, but that's not my things. Building I ship it now. I don't want to be updating dependencies. That was cool. Like,
yeah, that's scaffolding. Yeah, that's fair.
If you hate Power, you're just putting monolith and creating
I'm not aware of one. This audience would be a good audience to ask. Though. Anybody know of a Power alternative besides just managing the files yourself?
Like I browse for and anti-browser.
Okay, so yeah.
Another one that
Okay. Cool. Oh, really?
There's more British, I think.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. By the way, we're looking for feedback on this talk, just as a caveat. So, if you have things you think we should add to the slides or shit that seems like it should be trimmed, please just shout that out here at Captain Box. There's a bit of guinea pig.
Don't read the slides?
Don't read the slides? Thank you.
Okay.
We're gonna start things off with the TLDR in case you guys need to go or something. What slide is it? I can read the slide down here. I gotta stop doing this, because I notice I do that a lot. So yeah, this is the gist of what we're gonna go over basically. Read a style guide. At this point, there are actually, like, this is actually happened super recently, but both Todd Motto, who works at Google, and John Papa, who does a lot of JavaScript consulting, came up with, kind of collaborated on style guides and posted them to their GitHubs. And I mean, they're similar, but they diverge in places. I like them both. There were good things in both of them. Papa seemed a little bit more practical, but I don't know, like, maybe it just matches what we were doing a little bit more. I'm not sure.
Were you using English or
No, we aren't, and we'll get to that a little later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was curious if anyone was actually.
We have yet to do it. We intend to as a cleanup project. I really, the little bit I've done of it just on the side, I really like how that works out. But, and then you guys who have been here before know that I just kind of file structure best practices is a good thing. I like that one. Oh yeah, I have lift as the note next to that. I wasn't aware of that acronym before, but it's basically easy to locate code, identify it at a glance, keeping your structure as flat as possible, and trying to be dry. That one is a little stretch, but
So some other good resources that allow you to probably where we're starting out. Egghead is great for short videos on how I do this thing in Angular.
really bite-sized, easy to digest. Plunker. I haven't been on Plunker lately, but that used to be a place where they had a lot of example codes, kind of like JSPiddle. Thinkster is a good Angular resource. I went through a tutorial on their site to do like a Reddit clone in using Firebase as your backend. And not everything in that tutorial is what I would consider a best practice, but for just learning how to put an app together and actually like ship something, like have something that's fairly feature complete, it was really easy to follow along with. The ebook that Ari wrote, he's keeping up to date with versions, and it's very comprehensive and fantastic. And then NGConf was back in January in Utah, and there's all the videos are on YouTube. They're really great. The one from the DoubleClick team especially is, this talk is a little bit just like a miniature version of their talk, because they obviously do a lot more Angular than we do, but we were kind of inspired by them to do that here in the West. Yeah.
Also, like from Taro Parvanian, it's very called
Taro Parvanian.
This is building on AWS. You literally start with scope.js and build like the first section building scope,
building framework.
So cycle. Build the lifecycle analysis parser that you use for parsing expressions.
Wow.
Build right now the model just released like a week ago compile service and directive concept. Build compile service from JS and blank canvas all the way up. There's been some amazing moments how we really need to know what we're doing or not maybe just getting into it. That's experience.
To do a deep dive and really get a good understanding of the framework. That's awesome. Cool. Building your own Angular. Fantastic. TLR for use the tools, libraries, and strategies you find useful. For us, some of the Angular libraries and strategies we did. Angular UI. It's better than UI router. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely better than UI router, I think. REST Angular we are using instead of $HP, the resource found to be useful. If you're building a REST or RESTful endpoint for your server, I think it's pretty cool. Yeoman for scaffolding. We probably could have, in hindsight, we probably could have leveraged it for generators a little better, especially to, like, as I understand, it's pretty easy to do that, and it got annoying sometimes to create my test file and my regular file and add it to the front block for the sources. So writing a generator for that might have been nice. I could have appreciated that in hindsight. Moment.js and _JS are just some libraries we're using to do date stuff and some utility things for JavaScript. From what I've read, Lodash is supposed to be superior to underscore. There's too much stuff to talk about. I don't know. We did a lot of TDD with our unit tests in Jasmine. I love doing TDD tests. I know there's some people out there that'll knock unit tests and be like, like, this unit test is stupid. Like, it's just testing that I did what I did, and want to write more integration and end-to-end tests that are focused at what they want to do. Like, I think a mix of both is good. Personally, I feel like I write better code if I write my test first. So, kind of up to you. Git, please use Git. And Git flow as a branch model. I'll tweet out the link to the GitHub repo for these slides, so you guys can click on all the links if you want. But, Git flow, if you're not doing some workflow similar to Git flow for your practices on your team, it's awesome. And yeah, just a general, to do what works for you and ship your code. Like, don't get too caught up on stuff. So the learning process for Angular. This was the start of the movement for us, kind of the toughest hurdles that we fell flat on our face for. This slide is required in every Angular JS talk. Somebody called me out last time I gave a talk with a slide saying like I should reference the guy who actually made the graph. So I did that.
It is, yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, people who learn Angular, this rings pretty true. There's points at which you're just like, God, this is so awesome, and then the next moment, you're like,
One of those moments that when you talk about.
Which one?
Oh yeah,
life cycle and stuff. Yeah, it's like sometimes there's weird stuff going on there, and you're just like, why is this?
Let me see that Angular, the actual core is using evals to write a string value and value getting out of JavaScript. So you're like, I mean, it's like.
Don't do it except when you need to. So yeah, hopefully this talk, if you're learning Angular or still getting used to the Angular, hopefully this will make this a little bit smoother. But generally speaking, documentation is getting a lot better. Like stuff like that style guide would have saved us a few months of time starting out on the project probably. So we were just a year too early. Unlearn your jQuery mindset. jQuery comes very much from a place of truth is in the DOM, get everything out of the DOM, put it back in the DOM, manage all that yourself. Angular is more declarative. You get to keep your JavaScript as your source of truth. Angular handles all the DOM manipulation for you for the most part. So you really have to, trust your JavaScript and be like, this is my variable, this is my object, this is what the truth is, and Angular will take care of making sure the view looks nice. Let's see what else. Yeah, doing binding. Sorry, this is the first time running through some of these slides. So.
Having backbone is like a base for that helps a ton, like just to understand this. And I like the model thing with us was in this project. Because backbone is kind of has that embedded in their framework. Angular not so much. You kind of have to do that.
Well, you just it's the Wild West. You can do any JavaScript object you want, and so giving some thought to what those are going to look like.
We'll get into it a little later, but yeah, we kind of that's one of our cleanups is with the model side of things for this app. But if that notice, I would definitely like to go back and make sure I had that right first.
And
it's definitely more of a framework than a library, so Backbone kind of just gives you a set of stuff to get started with. jQuery is a library of tools and stuff. Angular, you want to do it the Angular way to get the best bang for your buck out of that. Our first pass at stuff last year was just like everything's a controller, because controller stuff's the view, and that's what we want, right? Like we want the view. And we want to so yeah, that gets to be a hassle. You have so much scope soup, and you're doing all kinds of emits and listeners, and it's really hard to test all that stuff. That quickly becomes unwieldy. You want to avoid that. Controller as syntax definitely seems like it helps me. Like, to your point, John, like the biggest one I see out of that is like being able to tell where stuff comes from in your view. Like, in case you ever have to do any kind of parent inheritance for your controllers or anything like that, like knowing what scope something came from is helpful, I feel like.
I like that aspect. I don't think of this here. Having this, this from.
I like that. Okay, like the stop guide stuff. Like this is the scary word in JavaScript sometimes for unless you're getting a good grasp on what you're doing and can track where stuff came from. But in a controller, I feel like like this is usually going to be this. At least at the top level of the controller, right? So as long as you're not trying to reference it in your functions, maybe like.
I've seen examples where this
right, to be able to do that kind of stuff on functions. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I think that's in one or both of those style guides. Yeah. So I think that's a great idea. Sharing your data in factory. We're using factories to do all our logic and our kind of data sharing right now. We've run into some trouble with that, and that's on our cleanup to-do list. Yeah, we'll get to that. But the Angular.value might be better for us there. Magic controller inheritance is bad. It's really messed up to try to figure out where some random value on a view is coming from, and like testing that just feels like you're just throwing up your hands and like because it needs this, I put it there. Yeah. I heard there's a better Chrome plugin than battering now. I thought I had it downloaded and maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Battery that doesn't know it's a Chrome extension that allows you to really technically go to like a download. But over where we're looking the styles, just careful. Like anything that has full scope, like you're not sure where it came from, you can go through all the
that works great until you have like 50 of those. Which I think I tried submitting or asking for. I don't remember if I actually submitted a pull request to name those scopes something. Like maybe the controller as syntax helps with that. I haven't done enough research there. But like, right, yeah. It really makes your stacks a lot better.
I've seen doesn't really scope that controller name or like scope name equals I found myself like in the end of running and I saw another better project, I saw it, and somebody
One note about scopes that did us before and can't continues to at times is I should put a note on here about MGVP too, because that's a place where it sometimes messes stuff up. But finding by value versus finding by reference in Angular. So if you have something on a service or on a scope that is not an object, it's bound by values. So if it gets updated somewhere else, you need to be listening for that in order to actually have it update. And that's anti-Angular magic. Like, I want my Angular to stay magical. So. Yeah. I've heard it referred to as that problem before. I've actually done on this one too. But yeah, basically like having your whatever you're doing, like for us, we're sharing services for a lot of our values instead of having just some naked JavaScript primitive on those having an object. Even something dumb for a like this, where you just say that value, allows you to share that stuff around a lot easier. This one for arrays, it's been a while since I've actually bumped into this on the project, where I don't know where we need it.
Well, we actually use that.
Yeah, we use it everywhere, but I don't remember like if it's actually the problem. Whether you can use objects to mitigate that or not. But basically, like the trick for doing arrays is you can zero out the length and then just push. Like if you're trying to assign an array to a new array with different members in it or whatever, you can zero out the length and just push all the new members onto that array, and you'll end up with the same reference to that array, the same actual spot in memory, but with the new values in it.
I don't know. I feel like this is like one of those things that completely on this project.
Yeah, this might have been a hack when we needed it earlier and don't anymore. That's right.
Putting values
in, right.
I'm not sure that
Cool. Services, making these fat, trying to keep the logic out of your controllers, good practice in general. We just used .factory, so I want to pull this audience. Who has services and .factory in their code base? Couple people. Why? Shut up, Zane.
they use which achieve factory.
There's different syntax, but I don't actually know why I would pick one of those. That's just whether you say this or whether you're talking about it.
It might have something to do with
Zilla returned it into the constructor defined inside it.
Okay.
when you do the factory, you're returning that.
Right.
I guess you do the service, it's you return that.
And you're doing that up.
And
Right.
then the thing that's calculating up is because there's single classes, and then like after one, and then unless you press the page, everything will be again. So I did press the page, and I kept moving around. All my values remain the same. But I was moving. They can.
Okay. Cool. All right. Now I can actually say something about why you use it. Yes. This is a thing that's, I think, a little unique to our project. We actually declare a module per thing in our Angular app. So in addition to having modules that encapsulate bits of functionality, like the auth module for doing login versus we have a queue of cases. Now we have a queue module. We have a conditions, medications, and allergies module where that information is super important to the nurses to see what people are allergic to and what they're on. In addition to that sort of stuff, we actually do a setter for modules in every one of our files and give them an individual module name. So like for our controllers, it's whatever the module is .vu, and for our services, it's whatever it is .api. That's just something we picked, or maybe we picked up on from somebody else. I don't remember. But so the value I see in it for the services at least is to be able to share them around with the whole module. For the controllers, I don't know that we're getting anything out of it. We're not sharing controllers. I could imagine a project, I guess, but I feel like that's an anti-pattern. So. Right. Yeah. So maybe you would do it there too. Yeah, I'm not sure, but like. For services anyway, it was nice to be able to say, like, just pull in this service. That's what I'm doing. Instead of the whole module if it's a full module. So if I went back, I'd probably not do the controllers since we're not using them. But the services, that made sense. This is Zach's part of the talk on kind of things to look out for in just delivering a project.
Yeah, so the first thing was kind of, so this is dating this, actually literally this has been since 105, and this just kind of is a testament to like how long healthcare projects take to work on. So yeah, we've been dealing with this since then. So obviously a lot of changes. So that 105, this space was fairly like the Wild West. But yeah, we definitely made a conscious effort to kind of keep up with the latest changes, and so and the 1.1 branch was pretty much experimental. So that and they had good stuff in there, but we kind of stayed on 1.07, I think it was, until 1.2 came out. I don't think we did.
We might have upgraded straight to 1.2.
I think we tried a couple times. Like there was, so there's a bunch of stuff in there. Like this is the long list of all the things that kind of were like that we were like we used that we're all excited about. I mean, we don't have to go through all of these things because we're already late here anyway. But I mean, there was a ton of stuff over the course of the year that we started using, and these are just some of the few. So expensive. So yeah. So this was like one of those fun learning experiences. So especially when you're doing like the Bower, the node dependency kind of system.
We're doing.
So one of the things we have like this version equivalent settings where you put like the tilde in there. Those things they're just fun, right? So I mean, it literally is like.
I didn't fall. I'm sorry, bro.
Terrible. Anyway, so
Zach has a funny picture.
Whoa. This way. That way.
Up, down, left, right.
Down.
You can do up, down, left, right.
Where did it go?
What are you looking for? Did I miss something? There we go. So yeah, so we were using version equivalent, and that like basically, so for 1.2.1.6, you get like a Bower info on that. You see like every build for all these 1.6s, and every time you get like that new build, and of course there's some breaking changes where there's dependency issues with other libraries, and all of a sudden like you get like invalid version errors, and you're like, it works fine for me, man. I don't know what you're talking about. So everyone's like on these different versions, so we would run into these issues. And it came, so CI was the same way. So we kind of introduced literally this clean task to just deal with like, okay, so with node modules, components, clean caches, and then we install it. And like, so kind of came up with that system to make sure like, granted like in development, you don't want to be cranking through this, but like if you want to just do certain your
not having, you know, like you're at the same level as anyone else who, you know, you can do this. And so our CI task basically does this every time, just to make sure like it has what it's supposed to have and not like something else that everyone else doesn't have.
Okay, so it's we've been having today.
No.
Yeah, no. Does anyone do that? No.
By accident.
And that's.
I've seen people do it by accident where they just didn't add it to getting going. And that could be a easy file or folder. Download the internet. Down, left, and right. What are you doing?
No, I want the routes one. There we go. All right. So RAS. So basically, you know, out of the box, we started. We have it was like this UI we had was like this tab UI.
I asked them to put a screenshot of that up here. So
yeah, the colors were literally like go to speaker.com. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so we got all these tabs, and so we tried to. You're loading it. So we use Bootstrap, the tabbing for Bootstrap, and it's kind of loaded like the entire world in for all those tabs, and we loaded like that route. So we kind of started trying to break down like how these routes work, and kind of quickly ran into the wall with like just how the routing mechanism worked for ng-route, and that's when we moved over to UI Router because it had way more flexibility in like how we could set up a route and kind of control like the states that you know that the application was in. So I mean, just to kind of so this is kind of just a snippet of like what we did. So for like you have like this abstract kind of state which you can't get to, and you can set your template. Then we have like the some child states. You can literally kind of define pieces of the view for each, maybe like within that state, like different templates for different sections. Like in this case, we had a different header for different tabs, and then you could nest in another state, which is this one's profile. So these are all like inheriting from each other.
Yeah, those use any view with a name for the template, or the name like tabs at cases.
So remember, this is like early on. So when we started this project, like ng-router didn't have resolve capability, I think. That's right. So we were like, that was like a no-no. So then that was another reason why we went over to UI Router. Since then they got the resolve capability. It did always have it. Okay. Yeah, so for linking it, have a nice directive for doing that, which is helpful, and then just their APIs for calling routes is super easy, and so we've used this one. We like it. It works pretty well for the kind of the UI and states that our application go in and out of.
Can you make the case for the names? Can you name the use? Every time I start an application with UI Router, I'm like, okay, is this an application for multiple name views? And it seems like everyone kind of directs you away from that and just says, hey, just use a subview,
like
the view.
nested.
Yeah, just use nested views because name views get way too complicated and no one can get discernible. They're good for this reason.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it kind of makes sense for nested. I guess multiple. We never really kind of explored that. I mean,
well, how would you do getting multiple like flexible templates on the same? Like, so like this case.html that we have, like we're putting different stuff in the tabs area of that UI view and the custom header.
I just
Oh, you just made this up? There's something common to the whole thing, but they vary depending on parts of the route, the state basically. So like putting a different template there actually makes sense for one route versus the other route, and most of the software that I have a copy of the size of like a 100-line HTML file and like changing 2 lines in it for a different route, like having the ability to put UI view tasks and import a different template URL based on the route helped us out.
Yeah, this worked. I mean, you could always get it working with a multi-view. I'm not. I feel like they kind of steer you away from doing that.
Well, the multi-view, they steer you away from that. It's just like within some views. But that's the view. So if you have a standard view, you got a tab, you got a below, you got a below that. They just keep telling you, just create your parent view and then create your 2 NG views underneath that. And now your tab view, your other view, and your parent view change. So like,
would you have a tab route and another view route? And like how do you control the time?
They're both sitting in the same parent view.
So yeah, I guess are you doing anything to actually get them, or are you putting them on the template URL route? Those are your options, right?
Oh, yeah. I guess you're using the NG to put them in there.
Yeah, so that's where for us we did a bit of variability on those improvements. So that's where you have to do this. Oh, my bad.
That's I think it's a good information, right? You don't want to master detail, and you can see the detail form when you edit it, to go back and list view again or something like that. Like, I don't know.
I think it's hard to design.
Yeah. I have a note to put the HTML to go with this on another slide, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like there wasn't an easy way for us to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish without that. But I can see why it would not be considered a best practice.
You need to bring the garbage in.
Okay.
You're doing stuff over here. Go. Sorry. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we get rid of jQuery, then you're like, all the other crap you have to pull, and you're like, fuck, it needs jQuery. So in our case, it was like we had like this image upload API, it's like, oh, we need jQuery.
Yeah, it's like if you any other trying to pull in this right direct for object, then
so yes, we still pulling jQuery. That was one of the great things about this. So yeah, so it has basically all of the components that Bootstrap has, friendly, I guess. And so when they upgraded, Bootstrap actually upgraded from 2x to 3x. There was a lag, like a month, and like our the front guy, this star guy, was just like, he was just pissed off. He's like, I want to upgrade. He's like, this sucks. You guys just, he's like, let's just use Angular Strap because they did it first. And we were like, right? And he's like, we were busy with other stuff. We're not doing that. And so, he's like, well, I just roll my own. And he kind of started down that path of like trying to roll his own stuff. And then he quickly realized, like, this is going to be a disaster. So he waited. Finally, like a month later, they upgraded to 3.0. The world was happy and nice again. He almost had a minute chip on that one. Yeah, so testing. So when we started breaking the modules out, so everything in the beginning was like app. That's easy, app. Everybody's app. And then it was like, yeah, that's probably not a great idea. So started breaking the modules, and always the test was just like blowing up, and so going through and figuring out like, the test needs these specific modules, and the first. The stack trace comes back the first time. You're like, what? But you kind of figure out like, the dependency issues, and it was actually a good exercise in trying to making sure that like you're testing, the module, the stuff you're testing is actually broken up into proper modules.
Yeah, I had one just a couple weeks ago where I injected something into a service that wasn't there before, and my test started blowing up. I was like, what's going on? It turned out that everything I was injecting did not have all of its dependencies listed. So when I loaded it as a module into my test, it was like, where's this thing? Like, it had to be there in the app. So when in the running app, like, everything just worked. But, you actually have to list your dependencies for your dependencies.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's what's confusing. Like, you're assuming everyone wants this to develop a lot. Like, I mean, like the testing part is, more logical.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about putting these slides in. Like, what would stop you from just injecting app into all your tests? Well, I feel like that works until you start sharing stuff or moving stuff around, and that's when that starts to, be a bit of a hassle, or like not being able to take it from one place and put it in another as easily. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know, but
you just mentioned four more hassle.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the guides that you were referencing earlier, there's actually some good info in there. Like they kind of break it up into, and it's kind of like as it's your decision of like how you want to kind of break your modules up and how you want to do that.
Probably this is something. This is
I had 3 more
I mean, I don't know. You can identifying like what pieces exactly are going into like your controllers or whatever, that type of stuff. Like.
You mentioned it on for example,
right, and we've done that, and I mean, it takes a little, the first time, especially going through this over the course of the last year, your first pass this, you're like, I'm definitely not doing this right, and then I think you kind of start to figure out like exactly what you're supposed to do or what you feel like is a better way of modularizing things.
Right. That was the argument I could come up with in tests for why not to just do before module app, like whole app. But
right. Yeah, so then we threw REST Angular into our project. That was another, because REST Angular, it kind of adds like its own methods, functions, properties onto the return values, the promise return. So you kind of had to, they actually wrote like a sanitizer, was a strict Angular, just to do, so you could do kind of proper comparison for those objects. That was another thing that we went through in the test. Yeah, I mean, so in the test, we used some things that we found helpful was, we use flush to make sure that all the async calls are done, and then then you can do your expects and asserts. Same with in like testing controllers, if you're testing like watches or something like that, run and apply, making sure that the digest cycles run so that everything triggers as expected. Do like that type of stuff. So this is the Karmakov. Just some things that we noted that files, that section in the Karmakov, like that's order dependent. The auto watch true that's like one of those like, oh yeah, okay, sorry, that's true. And then second one, it's true, and then CI is, well, true for CI, and then false for everything else for development. Just some tips. It's like that we, naming conventions are like.
No, the TV just turned back on.
The TV turns off?
It's hit the wall. It's got like a 45-minute sleep timer.
That's recent. That's recent.
I don't think so.
Where's the remote?
I know how to use the remote.
It's happened before. I usually run back and forth and turn it back on.
It's very good.
It's blaming
the rapid
Let's go, man. Alright, so those we done there, alright, let's keep going. Modules, like, I mean, that's the thing, so we were talking about this, like, how to organize them. I mean, it's, there's naming conventions, be consistent. So we put all of our directed filters and services in kind of like a common area, and then like templates or controllers and templates in another one. Like, so I mean, this is kind of like our structure really. So it's kind of have like these components kind of broken down how you want, and controllers and templates and packages, and then like common would just have like I said, all your directives, filters, and services. Definitely some good stuff in 1.3. One-time binding, that seems kind of cool. There's not, so dropping IE8, they seem very excited about that. And you messages on the forums, it's for like their validation, it seems like.
Has anybody looked at that ND messages stuff? And like to me, messages reads to me ICN, like doing like translations. But maybe that's just coming from a Rails background because they use that name for that. You could theoretically do ICN with it. It seems like, but it doesn't actually seem like it's meant for that.
Well, you use in anything in Angular app as far as what you're doing with now. It's just, I mean, the engine messages is just an engine so you don't have to keep requiring code for error messages.
For error handling type stuff.
It basically is an auto. It's a directive for an engine for your error messages, basically.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
So in English Go. That's nice. Which is probably gonna be like you're gonna have to rewrite everything.
That doesn't seem like
what was this one?
Well, just like this is a section of slides for like stuff that really humps up. So like Angular is awesome, and we can get a lot of stuff done with a little amount of effort. But then like some of the stuff that really causes us to turn a lot of time. A lot.
It's 3 in the morning. I'm looking for funny.
Right. Okay.
It's 3 in the morning. I'm looking for funny thing to say. Yeah. This is like.
We kind of started putting like all of our state in service factories, and then realized that was kind of a bad practice, and this is like one of those like we're not totally done fixing this. It was kind of like so we have like this stateful service, and this is kind of one of those like.
It would make more sense if we could show a screenshot against that. Basically, like, we have the queue page, and then we might have a case details page with a bunch of different tabs and different types of details about that case with our app. And our intent is to have data that we can share across those tabs in the queue, but then go back onto the queue
reset all of that data because when you open up a new case, you don't want anybody else's data bleeding into your other case. So yeah, sharing with services works great if you're trying to share data across everything in the app, but we've yet to get to the place where we're only sharing data within a sub-route, basically, of our app. Does anybody have any suggestions on that? Yeah, like we're kind of like putting a reset on every service, having that involved on the route changes, or like yeah, it's always another way we're thinking like maybe instead of like doing all that. I mean, right now a lot of our controllers take off fetch for the data they need, and I would rather use the resolve block. So that's one of the like cleanup items. I don't know that would fully fix everything for holding things of value or a service since they're singleton. Like some of our fetches don't actually like they don't have anything come back from the server. So like unless we're explicitly having in that fetch like something like even in the error block or something, have it zero out whatever that data was, we're potentially having like some edge case stuff in a case. Was bleeding through into other cases when we open it up.
Suppose you could reset it in like your child detail page controller and then scope out the steroid, not the steroid.
Right, yeah.
That is like an entry point to do that.
That's a good idea.
So every time a scope is
no, that's the chart. So we have controllers, each one
of the tabs.
And when you're going from one tab to another tab, I don't want to destroy that. You just put it on the scope. I have to do it on the destroy from your like controller. Yeah, exactly. That's where I would do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you have a parent controller, you just have to scope that person, right? That person is everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, maybe that's.
Yeah, I found that works super well. I look at it and you're like, oh yeah, it's like this controller only produces controller page. It's there, and it's public there, and you want to have a.
It's a lot faster going down. We're just reading everybody's journey.
Right.
Or have a direct argument on that one page.
Yeah, so this is definitely one of the app that needs some further cleaning. And we'll get to it as soon as they are like just released it already.
Oh shit!
Basically, what I was saying on that slide was like. Thanks very much. Basically, what I wanted to say on that slide was we had subviewing happening in our tabs on this view, and like some random links that you were clicking on part of it were subbing out the major portion of it, and like since we want that part of the page to load when you first hit the tab, which is coming from the parent routes area, so there's like 3 levels of routes, and then this is a 4th level. I got bit for a little while on having to check the current route to see like 3rd level, in which case you navigate down to 4th state, or if I'm already at the 4th state and I need to navigate like sibling, in which case do I rather use a caret, I think, to go like 1 and then to dispute. That was tricky.
It's not just one picture though.
Right.
It's obviously well documented.
Yeah. My slide was great. I thought I was going on the slide, obviously.
So security stuff. And this is kind of one we grabbed from EnergyConf. So we kind of started. So originally, like we basically used like an interceptor to capture like URLs, kind of do like an AJAX login, and then bring them to their page. But then they didn't really want that. So we basically have like a static kind of login. I mean, that's kind of just the way the design was like. So that's all they needed. So we use Grail, so we're just using Spring Security, and so when they load the single page app up, they literally just set like the credentials kind of at the window level, and then you can just pull it into a constant, and then you kind of have that available to you. So that's
injectable, yeah.
So that's kind of the pattern we did for that.
One thing I really like from the double-click team that they recommended in their EduConf video about this is, single-page apps don't have to be single page, especially when it comes to security. Like, one of the big wins you can do about serving a whole different reloaded page once after a login is you can serve different JavaScript in. Like, if part of your app is admin and part of your app is consumer, and you host them in the same spot, like, I don't want to serve that and front end assets to a regular old consumer. I want them to be readable. Like, even if I minify the shit out of it, like, someone can figure out what that does if they were motivated enough. So, for us, like, we have tags and rows to, like, just say, like, if this role is created, render this part of the page on the server, and let the server figure out, like, yeah, I should render these jobs. And then, like, combined with Run, we can create different bundles of, if I could, like, have a regular code bundle and then an admin code bundle and serve those controllers if they're authorized. I thought that was a really super good idea. So stuck on single page and single page app that you forget that, like, you have a server. You can actually do stuff on the server.
So, and then testing, we don't have it set up. Definitely, I don't know. Is anyone using Protractor? You are.
Yeah, I mean, that seems super cool. So this link, by the way, is slide deck on Protractor.
Just gives the ability to isolate from the box. So I've done end-to-end stuff. Hey, I want to find where the box is bound to this thing in my model, rather than having to have things on the box. It's just.
So you have to mock. So for this app, you have to mock it, or literally have like an end-to-end test covering like two different apps to get like the data that we would need to do like an end-to-end test. So
we just haven't gone through that work yet.
No one is set up yet. So you have like a way of getting the data that you need to run your end-to-end test.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah,
we'll end up needing to do if we want to put some of this stuff in, which I'm sure at the very least our QA team would be interested in.
Yeah, it's controller as would be one of the things that we would look at doing.
I found this out those style guides. Edgemin through those style guides. Edgemin has been deprecated, and so there's this like 1.3 annotate, like 1.3 I guess supports annotations. So if you're using Edgemin, apparently like you're on notice, I guess.
Right. Router was involved. We talked about that one. Definitely file structures. And then eventually act A123 or 1262. And that is it. Joy. We hope that was helpful.
You skimmed over, but on one of the slides it was using prefix group.
Well, that was like one of the. So that was like one of the. I mean, so we use like VW for well, so we use VW for dash and then the name. Just for. I mean, they use don't use NG kind of thing.
My natural inclination was to use NG so that I could see on my view anything that was Angular, but really, yeah, that should be reserved for Angular core stuff. And maybe you can come up with your own in-house.
Right, it works. Right, it works.
It works for us, yeah. What other questions or feedback on the slides?
So that's in the room. Yes. So that's in the room. Yes. The reason why it took so long is like there's at times there was no one on it. There's times a lot of people were on it. So there was other projects going on that we had to kind of get dragged off of.
Usually between 3 and 4. Yeah, we have a guy who's way better at CSS than us.
Yeah.
Do JavaScript just fine.
A third on that, yeah, we had this thing called the shame file. So if you're doing like, you know, you're like trying to style something.
Like, yeah, your PA really wants you to have something done, and you can't get a hold of the front end guy. So like CSS we're really like, we'll probably get close to what the person wants it to look like, but like I keep track of CSS practices. So like if I hack together some crappy stuff, absolutely change something like. I want to fix that. Like, so you're still going to change CSS to CSS.
You could have like
Just easily just be like, I give up on CSS.
Yeah, that seemed to work.
So back in SAS, unless our have functions and variables and stuff.
What's the answer?
Was what?
What's the answer?
Jenkins. Works. I've never used Travis personally, so I don't know.
We use
Oh man, we did that thing.
At the time of the project's inception, resources was pretty much all that was being used. So we were not happy with it. And just said, you know, like the whole JavaScript world is using Grunt at this time. Like, let's just Grunt. Like, that's fine. Like, we can run Grunt and Grails at the same time. Like, right, yeah. Like, we're pretty much loading all the files at once. So. Right, yeah. No, I was at GreatConf last week, and another guy, Ted Lilly, we were talking on Asset Pipeline. This is diverging a lot. Sorry, the rest of you who don't do Grails. But Asset Pipeline is helpful. Like, if I were doing it over again, I would be hard-pressed not to use Asset Pipeline. Dope as hell, yeah. You'll put me on that. This one actually looked good in Grails, so it's being actively developed versus resources. It's like when you hack manage okay, here's my number.
All right, awesome. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll tweet out this link. I make a survey monthly reports and tell us what we need to do different. So with that, let's get to wrapping things up. Where's my other? Yes. This. Okay. What happened to my? Okay, so. For those who have been here before, every meetup you have a JetBrains license to give away. So if you're doing Angular, you probably want WebStorm, you might want IntelliJ, you might want Ruby 9. Who knows? I have one year-long subscription to give away to front-end masters. Guy Mark Babansky down in Savage runs a workshop series and has all of them videoed online, really well cut up, awesome. And we have a 1 month free there, also a video training thing online. Good Angular stuff there. So we have everybody who RSVP'd on this lovely app that Dale built. So without further ado, if you win, you can pick up what you want, and we'll go there. Jeff brings. Jeff. Takes about a week to get. I'll submit it tomorrow. And might need to go on Meetup or whatever you want it to. Okay. Soam.
What would you like?
Between a year sub master and a 1-month trial to Pluralsight.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
See me after
We're done here. We have those cards
here.
And so, who's getting masters? EPAC.
You're here?
Uh-oh. EPAC is on the shit list for not showing up.
If anybody wants to add a feature where you can email them.
You missed out.
We picked you and you weren't here.
Lynn, is Lynn here?
This is all sorts of.
Lynn, no. And 2 no-shows, not happy to be Tony. Tony, you're our winner.
So,
I might have your email already, but.
Same shit.
Thanks a lot for coming. No, if you have a wheelie chair, if you would really wheel it into one of the meeting rooms over there, actually, oh shit, no, that's not right, is it? No, okay, leave the wheelie chairs, we'll take care of those. If you have a hard chair, if you would kindly move it to the kitchen, that would help us out a lot. We have a medical director coming in tomorrow, so let's clean up soon. Yeah, we do. And you missed out. It's all right. Good job, Will.